Hey everyone, Skull902 here, and this is the sequel to Pokemon Black and Blue. This is Pokemon Red, White, and Blue, released in 2013, around the time that Pokemon X and Y came out. Um, Even though this is something made in response to X and Y, this doesn't really get into like the sixth gen, or it doesn't take place in the Kalos region or anything like that. So it's kind of weird that way. There's no Gen 6 Pokemon, anything like that. Um, so yeah, meh. That's pretty much the story. What if Pokemon went into the real world? I wouldn't want to imagine that scenario. But as you can tell from the title screen and who we're fighting here, this is a PETA Flash game sequel that takes a shot at McDonald's. So I don't know if that's a theme with PETA sequels, but we're taking on McDonald's yet again. And just like in New Super Chick Sisters, we're fighting the Hamburglar, or I'm sorry, the mysterious stranger, who completely gets away at the end. The fucking Hamburglar is just a complete and total psychomaniac in these PETA games, who always just seems to get away with committing crimes. It's horrible. It's fucking horrible. The battle system is exactly the same as it is in the first game. There's no differences. There's like a few changed moves. Like Pikachu's got like Charge Beam instead of Thunder Shock, and stuff like that. But it's really not any different. What is different, though, is the difficulty of this game. I find it more difficult and frustrating, especially with the second battle. Jesus fucking Christ, that second battle is so fucking awful. But we'll get to that when we get to that. It's basically the same game in terms of gameplay. So if you've played the first one, you should just immediately be able to get into the second one, no problem. The treasure chests are back, and much like the last game, the first one will be a disturbing animal abuse video that, again, I won't subject you guys to. The second one is a wallpaper, and then the third one is trading cards. So that's the whole bit about the treasure chests there. And now the Pokemon have gone into the real world. They're visiting a McDonald's, and there's a fucking McDonald's customer there who's portrayed as a fat loser. And who I absolutely I love this guy's character. Something that he says right here pretty soon, actually. He says something along the lines of there it is. Chicken nuggets is like my family. Yep, that's exactly how all of us meat eaters think and speak. You know, just an accurate portrayal of people who eat meat by the subtle people over at PETA. I'd like to think that this guy is maybe a response to all the people that like have made YouTube rants on that. Like, one of this guy's moves is like rant, so. I wonder if they were trying to take like a subtle shot at people like Big L2K6, like I mentioned, by using that terminology. He also has a move called DDoS attack, which literally does nothing. So they're going pretty hard with the shots. Not so much at the Pokemon series in this game, but more so at like people who criticize them and McDonald's. But this battle right here, when this guy uses rant, his attack goes up, and he's done it 3 times now. So he'll use the move Bite eventually, and it's such a fucking pain in the ass. Like, I had to re-record this game a whole bunch because I wanted all 4 Pokemon in the party for the final battle, and this motherfucker made me re-record so many times. I hate the fucking shit out of him. But this time I got lucky. Instead of using Bite, he used DDoS attack, so I'm perfectly fine. Though I wouldn't be in real life, because DDoS attacks can, take down a site for quite some time, and thus, like sites lose advertising money because nobody can see the ads that pop up and stuff like that. So DDoS attacks are very serious. But that's aside from the point. This guy's just a complete and total douchebag, and I'm glad that I was finally able to beat him, no problem. This this fucking fat guy who just, I love meat and all that stuff. What a silly characterization. Speaking of silly characterizations, I was going to talk about the Jigglypuff, but I'll do that during the next battle. PETA went like really hard at McDonald's, and people who criticized them and stuff, they really like wanted to suck their own dicks here. Oh man, look at these PETA people, they're so attractive and stuff. That's right, if you don't like PETA, you're fucking ugly, which is a wonderful message to be teaching children. They're like the people from San Francisco and South Park who like fart and then like bend their head over to sniff their own farts. That's how it's portrayed here. I'll get to the other contents of the treasure chests at some point. But the Jigglypuff that has joined our party, I like her characterization as well, because the Jigglypuff sees herself as a bit of a, how should I put this, a puffy, beautiful woman. I'm sure that all the people with PBW fetishes are just absolutely going wild with this game right now. No, but Jigglypuff isn't terribly useful, to be perfectly honest. I mean, like, she's got sleep and rest, so, it works. But her moves don't deal a whole lot of damage. I just felt it would be, appropriate, like always, to use the new Pokemon in the battle. Except for the last one, because, again, that fucking difficulty makes it, like, particularly bad. So, yeah. I want to go back just for a moment about, like, PETA loving themselves so much. They portray it with, their own protesters in the game, a character we'll be seeing later, and with the Pokemon. So, I think that the lyric from the original Japanese theme song, for these Pokemon, the lyric, even under that girl's skirt, applies to Ingrid Newkirk.
Female screaming noise.
I'm sorry for giving you that image. Just like, they're really blowing themselves here. Like, they're going fucking throat deep. I don't think that's... I meant to say balls deep. You know what I mean. They're just really going to town on themselves with this one. Lots of ego PETA has. Which I will briefly mention a Facebook thread that I mentioned. I don't want to spoil it too much. But they as in PETA, they put like an anti-seafood billboard right by some guy's seafood restaurant. Some guy who was like operating near the PETA headquarters in Virginia. And this guy went to fucking town on PETA, on a professional NBA player who gave him some shit. And like other people who defended PETA. It's an amazing read, and I'm gonna put that in the description. But seeing douchebag egos being deflated a bit, it's some good stuff. So that thread there on Facebook, I personally believe is a pretty good read, if I do say so myself. The guy Jimmy's Famous Seafood, I believe his restaurant is called. Fucking bravo, props to you, because holy shit, that was some pretty good stuff there. This fight is still going on. I think out of all of these, aside from the final boss, who I bet you guys totally can't guess who we're fighting last. Since this is a parody that's got an anti-McDonald's message. These slaughterhouse workers, They've got some tenacity. They don't go down too easy. They also use pink slime, which I find kind of amusing because in 2015, I believe it was, McDonald's put rest to that rumor about the pink slime being their chicken nuggets. They make their chicken nuggets completely normally. It's definitely not pink slime, so that was a rumor that persisted for a while. But McDonald's made a whole series of videos actually debunking rumors about them. Like, listen here, fuckers. All that shit you see on the internet about us, it's all lies. It's all fucking lies. So, even though I personally don't really like McDonald's food all that much, there's a couple items on their menu that I like, but other than that, they're mostly shit. Give them props for not letting people talk shit about them, you know. So yeah, Grimace from McDonald Land is the next thing to join our party. He's a Pokemon in this universe. Yep, that's right. Grimace is a fucking Pokemon in this universe. Yeah, he's not one of Ronald McDonald's best helpers or anything. He doesn't like cheeseburgers or any of that bullshit. He's just a rare Pokemon that only exists in the real world. Just why? Like, this is so weird and stupid. Grimace from McDonald's is a Pokemon. I just can't. I just can't. This is completely and totally ridiculous. Which is something I totally wouldn't expect from a game made by PETA. But here we're running into the next character in the next treasure chest here. Ash makes a return, the reformed Ash Ketchum. And I see that the events of the previous game turned him into that kind of loser who tries, like, way too hard to make himself and what he's doing look cool. So what I imagine is he just, like, goes up to people and talks about PETA. He's just like, oh man, this PETA is so great. My girlfriend, Ash Lee, tells me that it's awesome and that I have a huge dick that doesn't show through when I wear a dress. I mean, when she wears a dress. I mean, PETA's cool. And then, like, the person that he's talking to is just like, leave me alone. I'm busy not being a member of PETA. It took me, like, so much restraint to not laugh there. Fuck up my own joke. Jeez. But yeah, we've encountered the final boss. Ronald McDonald, who would have guessed, is the final boss here. And Ronald is a fucking bastard. Like, he oh man. You've really got to, like, hope and pray that you have all four of your Pokemon in the party. Is what I thought when I was recording this, but I found out later when I played the game again that you can take him out with just Grimace, just fine. Because Grimace has, like, that protein move that Oshawott did that Oshawott had in the last game. So, like, he can build up his attack and his defense, and it's perfectly fine. Like, if you use all of them and then use the move that's strong against Ronald, like, Ronald's a fucking cakewalk. You don't need any of these other losers. So I guess even though it's ridiculous, like, even by PETA standards, that Grimace is a fucking Pokemon in this game. He's like the most powerful Pokemon in the universe. If he can take out Ronald McFucking Donald, who has these unbelievably magic powers, at least in the McDonald's commercials, you know that you're not fucking around. So fuck Lugia. Grimace, I think, is my favorite legendary Pokemon. I kind of wish, actually, that they had used, like, some more of the McDonald Land characters, because I can see Birdie just as well being a fucking, character in this, another rare Pokemon. So, good stuff. They also had a Miltank in here, which I'm sure you guys seen by now. If you haven't, then you clearly haven't been watching. But they have a Miltank in the party here, and I've got to believe that They implemented the Miltank. They put the Miltank in this game after the large amount of emails and petitions and complaints about McDonald's being a fucking cowcist company after releasing fucking new Super Chick Sisters and portraying cow meat as evil. Those poor innocent cows didn't deserve that poor oppressive treatment by PETA. So this is PETA's way of making up for it. Obviously, completely and totally obviously, they wanted to accommodate the cow lovers out there and cows themselves, who I'm sure all give a fuck about what PETA thinks about them. So anyway, this is Grimace. You know, he's a poison type, and he's got this move Pursuit, which just takes Ronald out immediately. And oh wait, that's not Ronald McDonald. Holy fuck, Ronald got away. He's actually the CEO of McDonald's. Jeez, this is just so fucking weird and everything. But that's the game beaten, folks. So yeah, all the Pokemon and Grimace, who is also a Pokemon, you know, they've saved the day from McDonald's tyranny and are now spreading the message of McDonald's horrible cruelness to animals throughout the world. We've won for the sake of Pokemon and animals in both worlds. What a fucking weird ass plot. So again, just a weird plot and all that stuff. We've won. This is something that it says right here, play again and type PETA. I tried that like a whole bunch of times. I thought that maybe you had to name one of your characters PETA or something. It doesn't work. I swear I cannot get this to work. So unfortunately, that's not going to be in the extras. It's kind of weird that they said that and then it didn't work. I don't know if I don't know if it's glitching or whatnot, but yeah. Here are the credits, and they once again credited the studio that made this game for them. Surprised by that, because it doesn't seem like they would do that for anything else. Certainly didn't with Super Chick Sisters, but yeah, that was the main game, and now we're gonna get going on with the extras, so here we go. So the first extra that I want to share with you guys is, again, all the profiles for the Pokemon that you play as in the game. First up is Pikachu, and Pikachu has a new description which says, "Brave and radical Pokemon who leads the Pokemon liberation." Radical? I don't think they mean in the 90s cool way. That's bad. That's really bad. Next up is Miltank, whose description is, "Pokemon who's been treated poorly and forced to fight by the mysterious stranger." And probably would have been eaten by him too if not for that meddling Pikachu. The third profile is for Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff's description is, "Pokemon who's been cruelly experimented on by the McDonald's customer and apparently has a self-fetish." And finally we have Grimace, who, his national number is 666. It's a bit fucked up. Anyway, Grimace's description is, "Pokemon who's been captured and abused by the McDonald's Corporation." Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Now, the second extra is the wallpaper that you get in the middle of the game. There's no dialogue that happens afterwards, like it's completely the same either way, whether you ignore the chest or open it, but this is it. This is just the wallpaper that you get. Again, it comes in a 4x3 and a 16x9 version, so yeah, that's the wallpaper. The third extra is the trading cards that you get from Ash in the third treasure chest. Before I get into specific trading cards, I want to talk about the backs, because I forgot to in the first one, because I'm a fucking moron. But here's the back of the cards from Pokemon Black and Blue. And then here is the backs of the cards from Pokemon Red, White, and Blue, this game. So yeah, good shit. Pikachu doesn't get his own card. I guess they figured that one was enough for Pikachu, so yeah, Pikachu doesn't get his own card, but the other three Pokemon do, and their descriptions, again, are exactly the same as in their profiles. We have 5 trainer cards for this set here. The first one being Ash, the only friendly of the bunch. Ash's description is, if Ash reformed his Pokemon enslaving ways, we're hoping he'd want to free 'em all. So, even after reforming and singing their praises, PETA still doesn't trust Ash. The bastards. For the Hamburglar, I mean the mysterious stranger, it says, a shadowy figure from beyond that has been caught rustling Miltanks. But why? Like it screams at you, the description there. For McDonald's customers card, we have, this uncool customer treats his Pokemon like things, not living beings. Salad. The Slaughterhouse Workers card says, this deadly duo works best together, whether it's in the slaughterhouse or in a brawl with Pikachu. And in bed, if you know what I mean. Sex jokes. And last but not least, Ronald McDonald's card says, this clown is the evil mascot of the McDonald's Corporation, and is apparently also its CEO. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. So my final thoughts on this game are, it's not as good as the first one, like, because it's that much more difficult, you know what I mean? Like, they made it, like, really hard, especially with that second battle. I got lucky on that second battle, and, I don't know, it just ends up more frustrating than it is satisfying, and even then, like, the first one wasn't all that satisfying. They implemented the gameplay well, it's just, like, as far as the CPU strength is concerned, it's, like, really up there. So as a game, it's all right, I guess. I wouldn't recommend checking this one out, actually, unlike the other three PETA games. The first one more so out of curiosity, and then I do legit believe that the Super Chick Sisters games are legitimately good, just with a bad message. So yeah, I think what we can learn from all these PETA games is that, like, being a vegan, is completely okay. There's nothing wrong with being a vegan or a vegetarian or wanting to live that kind of lifestyle, but things like advocating violence and lying to people isn't okay. So that's my position on it. But yeah, as far as other PETA games are concerned, I don't know if I'm gonna do any more. I might do Super Tofu Boy, but I'm not exactly sure. So yeah. Once again, I want to give a special shout out to my buddy Katie, who helped me a bit before I made these two LPs. And I would like to thank you all for watching. So I've been Skull902, and have yourselves a fantastic day.